Welcome, everybody. Here we are. It is a holiday here in the US, but you know what? I didn't have any plans, so I decided that we should have an awesome interview for today because maybe you're hanging out wondering what to do before barbecue time. And maybe you're not in the US at all. So here we are on the 4th of July, and I am here with Shannon, who has so many interesting expertises. But today she's going to talk about monetizing a group because we hear so much about how we need to grow a group and grow a community, and it's great for lead generation. But there's not a lot about, like, okay, I brought these people together. Now what do I do? So please help us.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Carolyn, for having me. I'm so excited to be here. If you're new to meeting me, my name is Shannon DeSouza. I am an award-winning entrepreneur and a sales expert. And so this is the problem that I'm helping a lot of people solve right now. And essentially the concept of how we solve the problem, it can be utilized on really any platform. So whether it be LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, I'm working on TikTok right now. It's essentially the exact same concept. And why we want to have a community is to bring people closer to our message, right? The closer they are to what we're saying and they can connect with us as a human being, then people do business with people they like. That's kind of just how it naturally happens. But we have to have a container to put them in. And that's really why I love Facebook, is because of that element. They promote the content a lot more, or our organic reach for Facebook in groups is a lot higher. It's actually second to our personal profile. So a lot of people are still underutilizing the personal profile. And what I teach is basically being able to go out into larger Facebook groups, funnel them to our personal profile, and then that moves them back into the group. Now, everyone is very focused online about growing the group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but that's a majority of the messaging that I'm seeing.
Yeah,
Is
definitely.
grow a group, grow a group, grow a group. Okay, and like you said, then what?
Mm-hmm.
So my expertise is really around the then what? It's the conversion side of
Mm-hmm.
it. And how that works is a combination of content, and it's not just creating content and throwing it out there. There is actually a secret sauce. So in this space, in our group, we are the authority, right? We are the influencer. We are the owner. We are the admin, whatever, like we have the crown, right? And so if we're utilizing that tool effectively, then we can start bringing people closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to us. But that's only one content, or on the organic side is only one part of it. And I think that this is the piece that a lot of people are missing. I see a lot of messaging online that people should just be coming to you. Now, to me, that's a massive missed opportunity, because imagine being at a conference and imagine just like standing in the room and being like, oh, I'm here, right? How many people are actually going to come and talk to you, right? Like, not very many are actually, they're going to be like, who is this? Like, whatever. I don't even know who you are, right? And so the way I like to think about it is your Facebook group is like welcoming people into your home. When they come through the door, it's about having conversations with them, building a connection with them, understanding who they are, what they're looking for, right? Where are they trying to go? And then so sometimes this process can honestly take 6 months. Sometimes this process is fast because those people may have seen you in other places, or those people may have been searching for a solution right now. And you
I
just
just happen
happen to
to be
like,
ready.
exactly. And so I don't like, the last coach that I hired, I was actively searching and I wanted to spend money and buy. And I went into the groups. First of all, I wanted to see, what kind of membership questions that they had, what kind of sales approach did they have, did they come and talk to me, what kind of content. I was basically spying on all of these things. And when I found my last coach, it was quick, effortless. We were just like in the DMs, back and forth, boom, 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 boom. Then we jumped on a call for like very quickly. He had answered all my questions basically before that. I just, when you're in high ticket sales, it's all about, are you a human? Do we like each other? Okay, yeah, great. Let's do business. So my secret sauce all around, conversion, like a big part of it is DM strategy. And so once we are able to understand what is the journey we're trying to take someone on a path with, and what kind of questions that we need to ask, um, they start watching us. And why they start watching us is because the algorithm is actually helping us. The algorithm sees that we have a relationship, and social media was made to be social. So they want to promote the relationships, and the content that matters, and the content that's been engaged with, right? And so then it goes back to content strategy, fantastic. But then it also goes back to like, what are our offers, right? And are we selling frequently enough? Are we promoting? And sometimes people take it to a whole new level, but it's just promotion, promotion, promotion. And in the female market, that feels very salesy or spammy. So it's really just about learning a more elegant way to do that.
Because you want to be there when they are ready, because maybe they aren't ready to say yes right away, but that moment when they are ready, you want them to know that you have it available and be there
and
waiting.
and the visibility of an offer is what triggers, do am I ready to buy? Or it triggers like, what's the next step in the process? And if that isn't there, people may love your content and engage with it, and it's like great value, but it may not trigger that sale for them, and they may go somewhere else because somebody else has actually promoted their offer more. And so the female market has a lot of discomforts around much of what I'm talking about, because they there's mindset issues around being too salesy.
Definitely. I have felt that myself.
I mean, it's a real thing. I've had it myself, and I have it sometimes too. But then I have to remember, like, I'm a business, and why am I looking at this with emotion? Like, is the Gap concerned about how many emails they're sending about a promotion? No. They're men in the coaching industry specifically, they're not concerned. They have no problems. And that's what's helping propel that movement forward, right? So it just takes a little bit of discomfort, right? Powering through that discomfort. And once you start getting results, then you're like, oh my God, why didn't I do this sooner?
And for me, I think a big part that helps with the mindset too is to remember that sales is service, and there are people who need what your offer delivers. You created it because there's something that people need. And so it's really harming and doing a disservice to your audience if you don't speak about it often enough that people catch on that it's actually happening. If you mention it one time, a lot of people are going to miss it, and then they don't get to take advantage of that thing that they need.
You're absolutely correct. And right now, with how busy it is online, the stat is actually it takes between 14 to 16 touch points before somebody
It's
becomes.
going up.
Yeah, it used to be 7 to 9. And so you have to remember, with just organic, just social media, we're not in control of who is seeing that and where it's going. So we also have to be using, other triggers like comment below, right? A clear call to action. We always have to have that clear call to action because people forget. We have to give them other ways to interact with us. So, for example, in stories, or now even in reels, you can ask questions or polls, or use a slider. And people who are leads, right? A part of what I also teach is around people who are regularly engaging with your content. Those are people saying, hey, hi, like, I like you, right?
Mhm.
It's like someone waving to you and you didn't wave back. And so there's nothing wrong with saying like thank you and starting to build that relationship and understand who they are. And I've been effortlessly getting customers like this for 7 years. So it's not a harm, it's a relationship based strategy. And this is only one way of looking at it. I teach a ton of other different types of ways, but essentially, like, there is about 3 to 7% of the market who's always ready to buy.
Mm.
And if we're not that one trying to take advantage of that statistic, well, they're going to buy from somebody else, right?
Yeah, that's always a good thing to keep in mind too, mindset wise, that like if they're going to be buying, and it may as well be from you.
Well, I think also it's like you're not doing anything wrong. I think women have a sense of like, oh, we're just not supposed to talk about this. We're not supposed to do it. And
Mhm.
you're not doing anything wrong, right? Like you should be proud of your business. You should be proud of the work that you're doing. You should be proud of the transformations you're giving your clients, right? You should it's not a dirty secret.
Now, here's something, a mindset issue that sneaks up on me when I think about looking at people engaging with my content and contacting them and building a relationship with them. It seems like a lot of one-on-one time. And I think that one-on-one time does pay off, but there's some part of my brain that's like, oh, once you get busy, you're not going to be able to do this, which makes me not want to do it in the first place. But you've been doing this for 7 years. You haven't gotten too busy to build those one-on-one relationships. What tips do you have for that?
So there's a few I have. The first is it's a mindset thing, right? Like what's the priority? My priority is serving people. My priority is helping people. So why wouldn't I want to, build those relationships and help in that one-to-one manner? The
Mhm.
second is you stand out when you do this because there's not many people doing it. Everyone is preaching go the opposite direction. Forget about one to one, forget about go group, go like automation, go funnel, do everything but actually build a relationship and a connection as a human being. And I will tell you now with the recession and everything that we are already experiencing online, that the people who are implementing this strategy, those are the people who are going to be successful because people already are having problems spending money and get with trust,
Mhm.
right? So they are going to give their money to someone they know that is going to be there to support them and help them through this. That's just the reality of the situation in this moment. So I beg and urge everybody listening to this to really rethink their strategy. And so for me, my program is $10,000 right now. And so that sales cycle can sometimes be a little bit longer because people have to really think about that.
Yeah.
Women, and often women think about themselves and their business as an expense. They don't see it like men do with where it's an investment.
Mhm.
And that's also another reason why women are not making as much money as men, because men could be like, okay, well, that $10,000 is probably going to make me a couple $100,000 over the years because I'm learning something I didn't know.
Mhm.
Whereas a woman is like, oh my goodness, like $10,000, like that, where am I going to get the money? I'm never going to get that back.
Yeah, you always have to think about it in terms of the return on investment, and like that's not always immediate, but over time, like
Well, is a
the right
degree
way to
immediate?
sort of
Like,
measure whether it's something that's worth investing in is like, is this going to give me a skill or um, a tool that I'll be able to continue to use to build my business bigger? Heck yeah, definitely invest in that.
well, the way I've looked at it is, first of all, we need, if you're serious about your business and you're serious about your online business specifically, there is a race going on. You need to get to the front of the line. And so if you don't know how to do it, if you don't know how to do it, sorry, if you knew how to do it, you would have gotten there already. So if you haven't gotten there, then you need help. And I'm saying this from a place of this was my own problem, right? I was in the software industry for 10 years. I'm really smart, I'm astute. But I needed help, right? Because when it's your own business, you're in a just can't see things. And that's why people like us, service providers, we get hired in the first place, is because everybody needs support, everybody needs help. And these businesses, has ever said like you should be running a business by yourself. Nobody's ever said that. That's why teams exist. That's why companies exist. That's why organizations are large, right? And people are specific into their job roles because nobody can do it alone. But for some reason, online, we seem to think like we should just study everything and just do it ourselves,
And somehow have like 3 times as many hours in the day as we do, like, to be able
right?
to do all those roles.
So circling back to your original question, I have systems. I have software that helps me, right?
Mhm.
I have two CRMs. One is for my business. One is for a Facebook CRM, right? I have automation tools. I also, being in sales for 16 years, I have a great memory. So for me, if we've ever been on a call, I remember you, right? And that's exactly why I checked in with you. I was like, oh, I haven't seen you around for a bit. Like, what's going on, right? Because that human connection
Mhm.
exists, right? And that ultimately is the game changer between someone who, just buy through the funnel, you've never talked to them. The trust is lower, and then you can't be surprised if you are not getting the results that you wanted or expected because of, even, like, look at the buying process.
Yeah, I definitely like to put a lot of personal touches into a funnel and yeah, utilize ways of building up that know, like, and trust because it's absolutely critical. Especially, like you said, with those high ticket offers, you've got to have some one-on-one time built in there. I don't know. Like people claim that they've got automated funnels that are selling $10,000 programs, but
I
oh no, I'm skeptical.
I mean, they do exist. They definitely do exist. I've seen them myself. Is it, and there's nothing wrong with funnels, and there's nothing wrong with software, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what I am saying is that if you're not at that level, you do have to put in the work,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, the people who are doing that, I think they have built up trust in the fact that they are household names within certain spheres, you know. Somebody like Russell Brunson can sell whatever he wants completely automated because those of us who are in that world know who he is. So we already have a lot of trust built up in what he offers.
Well, he's a big brand,
Yeah.
right? And so if we're not that brand, well, all we can do is build up that brand through, in my opinion, and my strategy is one-to-one connection. Because again, that's how you're standing out.
And I really like the community driven part of it too. You know, I am very fond of email marketing, but with emails, it's again like it is very one on one. And there's something about that building of a community where everybody can see everybody else
Hmm.
that is just a whole other level of being able to see that other people trust you also. It's kind of social proof and it's also just funner to interact with a lot of people when you're just getting an email from someone and maybe you're replying, maybe you're having conversation. It still feels very isolated.
Well,
So
it's one directional, right? And I think in a group, there's way to have a conversation both ways, which is exactly what you're saying. And I think that there's ways, a lot of people are scared of having other people sell in their group, for example. But it's all reciprocal energy, right? If we're all giving, we'll all receive too. Like it's really just not focusing on the scarcity; it's focusing on the abundance,
mm.
and knowing that it will happen for you and stepping into that energy if it's already happening. And these are all the practices, right? They all come together.
So if people have been getting DMs and thinking, I don't really like the way this person is approaching DM strategy, what steps can they take to work with you and learn about doing DMs in a way that does not turn people off?
So one of the things I will tell you, because you're talking about cold DMs. So cold DMs, there is still like a 10 to 20% conversion on that.
It's incredible.
Because again, people are looking for what you have. And so if you just show up in their inbox and you've crafted like an interesting message and there is person around, it works. It absolutely works. And if you know how to prospect, so this all comes back to your niche, right? And so in my program, I have to look at niche because the majority of people who come to me who have sales problems, it's because they don't have a clear niche. The second is, if we don't have a clear niche, we can't create a compelling offer for that person, right? And women have a problem with having a discomfort with only helping one person. And so men have no problem with laser focusing into like, I'm going to just serve e-commerce businesses who are doing, in health and wellness, who are selling protein powder. They have no problem with just that kind of focus. Where women, we're more heart centered and we want to help everyone. We never want to turn someone away. But when you play on the internet, it doesn't work like that, because then your messages are spread way too thin. And then when your message is spread so thin, nobody can actually hear you. And so the way I teach is like, you want to be the whale in the pond. Like, and if you actually thought about that, it's pretty friggin' crazy to see a whale in a pond. Like,
Yeah, I'm picturing that now.
right? And so that's why I've chosen those words specifically, is because that's exactly how targeted you want to be. You want to be the go-to person for just that one thing, right? And so what I will tell you is some people really suck at DMs, and those are often the ones that you're thinking about. And some people are really great at DMs. And what I would challenge you to do is know that there's not only one way of doing this, right? Just like there's not only one way of building a website, or there's not only one way of designing a Facebook group. There's multiple ways of doing everything. And so those people just suck at it. So why can't we look at it as a way of an opportunity for you to get better, and for you to create a message that is compelling and irresistible, even though it is cold? Because
Yeah, that's great. If you look at the DMs that you hate and think, what do I dislike about that? And craft something that's the opposite.
most of the time people don't like them because they are presumptuous.
Hmm.
So they assume you have a problem. They assume you're unsuccessful. And that's what's rude about it. So if you start the DM with, hi, so and so, with their name, first of all, that's the number one biggest mistake, is never putting somebody's name. Hi, so and so. I see you're the owner of XYZ Facebook group, something personal to them. Then you're immediately like, oh, they took the 3 seconds to write this down, to look into me, to research me. Great, fantastic. I noticed you have a decent sized audience of over 3,000 people in your group. I'm curious to know if you'd be interested in learning more about how we can increase that conversion from the standard 1% to 5% by sharing a sales playbook. Is that something you'd want to learn more about? Sure. Boom, call booked. Right? And if it's 15 minutes of wasted time, most likely it's not, because you'll probably learn something you didn't know, right? And who doesn't want to make more money over something that they're already doing, right? So I think it's just messaging. I think it's about taking a little bit more time, a little bit more research, and knowing that there's not only one way to do something. I will also tell you, with cold DMs, there's a handful of people who are just super loud about it. There's a majority of people don't give a shit. And if you don't want to open the message, you won't open the message. And if you don't want to take the offer, you won't take the offer. But that's it.
Yeah, that's another mindset issue. Like, it's not harmful to send messages. And even if you get rejected or somebody gets upset with you, like, that's one person. And maybe you never know what's going on with that one person. So it's not hurting them, it's not hurting you.
It's not the
It's
end of the
certainly worth
world.
experimenting with and testing out, to see
Well,
what
I mean, I would say, like, yes, make sure that it's crafted well. You will get rejected, but it's better to fail fast. It's better to fail hard and just get the hell over it, right? And in this world that we're living in online, you will be seeing more and more and more DM messages. Cold is a lead generation, a source. Just like organic is a source, cold is a source. And coming from the software industry has been using cold strategies for years and years and years. Cold calling, cold email, right? Cold list building, um, list scraping for events, right? To get appointments. This has been going on forever. And so the coaching industry and the online world just needs to know, like, this isn't new. right? It's just about getting better and stronger. And if you're not good at it, then getting help to get there.
Hmm. All right, so why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and learn more about what you do?
Absolutely. So my absolute favorite place to hang out is in my Facebook group. It is called the Winner Circle Sales Acceleration for High Ticket Coaches. It is a very magical place. There's great humans are in there, first of all, most importantly. And the engagement is very high. Everyone seems to enjoy the vibe. So that is where I would definitely recommend you hanging out with me. You can connect with me on Facebook. You can connect with me on Instagram, the Shannon DeSouza. You can connect with me on TikTok, the Shannon D'Souza. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm on all the platforms. So definitely hit me up. I am very friendly, so we can have a conversation for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing some of your tips and giving us some mindset advice for getting over ourselves.
I honestly I think with what we're about to face, like it's gonna be the people who are ready to do things that they haven't done before are gonna be the successful people, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, getting outside the comfort zone is important. Sometimes it's hard to know, like, am I feeling uncomfortable about this because it's wrong or because I'm just, just being scared? But last week's interview was about cold stuff too. So I feel like I'm getting a message from the universe that I need to stop being so resistant to cold messaging.
I think just get better at it. Just so it's all about prospecting, right? Like if you know if you know who you're serving, and then you could find them very clearly, and then crafting an offer for them that's irresistible. I had a client who did cold messaging around her offer the other day, and she was closing deals without getting on sales calls. $3,000 offer.
Wow,
Absolutely remarkable.
that is excellent.
Absolutely remarkable. I was so impressed with her, but I mean, the real secret here, she has a lot of authority, she has big audiences, and a part of her messaging was saying, "Hey, I'm gonna promote you to my big audiences on TV and radio." And so everyone was like, "Okay, yes, I'm
Yeah,
in."
talk about irresistible.
Exactly. Exactly. So again, it comes down to your messaging and like what does the other person actually want? Like not it's not
Mhm.
about you, it's about them.
Yes, so important.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you
Well,
so
enjoy
much.
the rest of your fourth, and I'll be chatting with you on Facebook Messenger
Yes.
soon.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, bye.
Bye.